Good evening and welcome into another episode of the Boulevard. Coming down towards the end of the college football season. I'm glad to be back here with y'all tonight. I miss y'all. Um, and yeah, we got a lot to talk about. How you guys doing today? I know my boy Jose done messed his foot up.
Yeah, I'm struggling out here. I'm trying the best I can to power through this thing. Obviously, halfway through the week, so a couple more days, and I got to kick my feet up and just watch football all day. So, powering through, but excited, I guess. Ready to go.
My boy,
Bittersweet.
my boy Big T gonna be making snow angels tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sitting here watching this weather right now and seeing how bad I'm finna get snowed in because I'm in a hotel right now, 3.5 hours away from home, and I really ain't trying to get stuck here. So if I
Yeah,
gotta
Yeah.
get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go home, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Good
yeah.
luck, brother.
Well, it's good to be here. It's good to be back. It's good to be talking college football tonight, mainly only college football tonight. I'm not going to get too deep into college basketball with it being a conference championship week, but we are going to start with the bracket here. A few changes on the list. Ohio State stays at 1, Indiana stays at 2, Georgia jumps up to number 3, Texas Tech moves up to number 4. Number 5 is Oregon. 6, Ole Miss. No change even with Lane leaving. We'll get into that a little bit. A&M drops down to 7. Oklahoma stays at 8. Alabama 9 moves up to 9, and Notre Dame goes down to 10. I know my boy Brian was probably pissed about that. And then you got your ACC and your G5 champions sitting there at the 11 and 12, which we will get into those games during game breakdowns. But overall, bracket feels pretty right here. I'm very interested to get y'all's thoughts on Texas and Vanderbilt. That's obviously a key topic of conversation here is should they get in? Should they not? What's going to happen? Um, should one of these teams jump Notre Dame, right? Um, so yeah, we'll start with that. Jose, I'm gonna let you take the floor here, and we'll kind of piggyback off of what you're thinking here on this bracket.
Well, I would assume that there's one spot really left in play, and that's the spot that Notre Dame currently holds. I think that if BYU wins against Texas Tech, BYU will, finish out this bracket, and Notre Dame gets the boot. If BYU
Yep.
loses, then the question becomes, who does the last spot go to? I would assume, as of right now, just the way they've been playing, they've been putting this thing out. It's a pretty safe bet to say Notre Dame will be the team, the final team in. I personally think it should be Miami, given that Miami beat Notre Dame. Um, I think that if you're a Texas fan or you're a Vanderbilt fan, your season is over. As far as your CFP hopes, it's over. Like, you needed help last week in order to make a run. Like, you needed teams to lose in front of you. Nobody lost. There was no big upsets last week. You didn't get any help. In my opinion, Texas and Vandy have no path. Miami has an outside shot. Notre Dame is probably in the driver's seat if BYU loses. BYU wins, they're in. Texas Tech is in. This is gonna be your bracket as it currently stands.
Um,
So
what is maybe I'm getting trolled here, but what is this talk about Vanderbilt trying to schedule a game to play this weekend or next weekend?
I seen that report. I don't think it's. I wouldn't say it's accurate, or I wouldn't say it has that much weight on it. But I did see people talking about that, and in theory, like, yeah, I mean, there's nothing really stopping these other teams from scheduling games right now and playing. Um, you know what I mean? Well, I don't know if the NCAA will recognize those games, but
Yeah.
there's nothing really stopping these teams from doing that. If you
Yeah.
guys remember, I think it was COVID. I don't know if it was COVID year, but it was a few years ago when Zach Wilson was still at BYU. BYU scheduled Coastal Carolina when Coastal Carolina was also really good. I mean, Grayson McCall back then.
Yeah.
And they scheduled that game like randomly at the end of the season, like with a week with a week to prepare. Um, and that came about like in a few days. They played it on a Saturday, and I think it was supposed to help BYU's and Coastal Carolina's like resume. That was why they did it for it. Now I want to say that was a COVID year, which is why they scheduled it because those teams were only playing like 7 or 8 games that year, anyways. They weren't playing your traditional 12 game schedules. Maybe
Mhm.
that's why they got it in. But we have seen this before where teams decide to schedule games like out of nowhere and play to impress the committee. It was just to a different, it's not apples to apples in this case because
Yeah.
it was that was during the COVID year.
Yeah. One point I want to bring up real quick to anyone who is new to college football or just might have the question of, well, if Georgia beats Alabama, shouldn't they get knocked out? I don't believe so. The committee has come out and said that they're not going to penalize teams in that conference championship game. There's no reason for them to miss out on on the playoffs for losing that conference championship game. So, yeah, I think this bracket is pretty much set. I could see Notre Dame slip out here. Obviously, it will be very interesting to see what happens. And I like that Ole Miss didn't really move just because of a coaching change, because the OC and the DC is still there, and you have the DC and Golding taking over that job. So I really like Ole Miss staying there. I think they're still a very solid team. Texas A&M, they played very poorly and a lot of concern. They finally had to play a real team. I know the majority of the season, I believe they played every team on that was in the bottom half of the SEC, right? So they had to play a real team, and they looked pretty bad against Texas. Arch has been playing real well. So, and depending on who they get matched up with, I guess I could see Oregon maybe being on upset watch. If I had to put any team on upset watch, in my opinion, it would be Oregon. And Texas Tech, the defense for them has a real chance to kind of help them make a run here, regardless of them being in the Big 12. Texas Tech's legit. So, Big T, any thoughts?
No, I think it's pretty spot on as far as the teams that are in. I mean, I guess you can make a case, for Vanderbilt. And I think if Texas wouldn't have started off so poorly, that they would be right in here as well. But I think that loss to Florida is really hurting them right now. So, but as it sits right now, then I think it's pretty well set.
Yeah.
Other than maybe Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I just want to real quick point this out in that the way this bracket currently is constructed by the committee, I would be surprised if like these are the matchups that we get, because if you notice, like a lot of these are going to be rematches. Like Alabama already played Oklahoma this year. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame already played Texas A&M this year. Yeah. Let's say Ole Miss plays against conference champion, whoever that is. Let's just say it's James Madison. They win. They're going to play against Georgia. They've already played this year. You're looking at a lot of like repeat games, and I just don't think the committee's going to want to do that. I thought it was interesting that the committee moved Alabama over Notre Dame this week after Bama beat, a pretty shitty Auburn team. I think that's just them saving themselves, where if Alabama loses against Georgia, they're not going to drop them all the way out now.
Yeah.
But still, if you look at the way the bracket's currently played out, I would be surprised if this is what they went with, just because you're looking at a lot of rematches right now. We've seen these games already. They want to give us something new. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. That makes sense for sure. We'll move on from the bracket here, and we're going to talk real quickly. We're going to play a quick game. Talking about coaches being hired and fired here. I'm going to go through the list real quickly on some of these coaches. I want you to say good hire, bad hire, or mediocre. Okay. And we won't do this long, but we've seen a lot of movement this week, so I want to get into it here. Ole Miss, Pete Golding taking over. Good, bad, mediocre.
I'm going to say bad. I'd say mediocre. Because he's been a coordinator for some really good teams, so he's been around some ball, but we'll kind of see how he does. But
I would say mediocre, but more towards the bad side of mediocre.
Yeah. I'm on mediocre just to I get it, to kind of keep whatever team they have there still. Makes a lot of sense. Let's move over here to assuming it happens, UCLA is looking at the DC over at Oregon, correct, Jose?
No, I believe it's Bob Chesney.
No, yeah, it's Bob Chesney.
Madison.
Oh, Bob Chesney.
You're thinking of Cal. You're thinking of Cal.
That's right. Cal. Yeah. UCLA is getting Bob Chesney from James Madison. Good, bad, mediocre.
Great hire.
This is a fan. I don't know why Bob Chesney went to UCLA. This is a fantastic hire.
Yeah, great hire.
Great hire. Yeah. James Franklin, Virginia Tech. I right now I'm on the good hire. I think weaker conference here for him, and he can really make some noise. Playing down to his level, right? He cannot play up in competition, but he can go down, and I think he could really take over the ACC here. I'm on good hire here for James Franklin at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I'd say good hire as well for this. I think it's a type of program that I think he'll do well in, and that they really need. So yeah, I'd say good hire.
I'd say good hire. We've seen him do it at Vanderbilt, which is harder to win than the Hokies.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Eric Morris, North Texas coach, heads over to Oklahoma State. I'm gonna say good hire if Metamaker ends up at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I'm gonna say mediocre hire for right now.
Yeah, I would say mediocre hire only because I don't know if it's Morris or if it's Mestamaker. I think that kid is that good. But I would say mediocre hire, but leaning towards the good side.
Yeah, former Mike Leach, he's coached under him, and he's had some of the best quarterbacks over the last few years. Cam Ward, John Mateer, and now Mestamaker. So, interesting. Big T, I'm gonna let you take this one, baby. Ron Silverfield over in Arkansas. Good, bad, mediocre.
Out of all the coaching hires that has been made, this is undoubtedly, hands down, by far the worst one. Without question.
Well, it's better than Penn State's, I'll tell you that.
Well, I don't even know. To be truthful, I'd rather not have nobody right now than who we got. Give it a butt question. Like, I'll tell you, this state was ready to burn it down, dog.
Oh yeah, it's
like
wild.
they were mad.
Yeah,
they were really mad.
Yeah.
I told Jose this last night. Out of every G5 coach that got hired, we just happened to do the most Arkansas thing ever and pick the worst one. Like, I would have been okay with literally anybody else that of the G5 guys that could have got hired. So why we didn't call Bob Chesney, I don't know. Why we didn't call Willie Fritz at Houston, I don't know. But somebody.
Yeah. And we also saw some extensions this week too. I know Jose was advocating for Clark Lee extended, Brent Key extended. So we've seen a lot of extensions.
Yeah, man, I don't know. It was a horrible hire though. Horrible.
Yeah. John Summerall, Florida.
For me, mediocre, but leaning
mediocre.
The bad side.
The American as well. American Conference really had a run here for coaches, right? I mean,
we've seen like Billy Napier come out of there. That didn't work out. We've seen coaches before try to make that jump, and it just didn't. Really, they can't do it. So
Jim Mora, Colorado State,
A+.
Hey, great.
That was it. That was really sought after, in my opinion. Colorado State, they got some facilities, a little bit of money over there. Beautiful place to live. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, John, because it's true. Like, Colorado State is a very, very underrated job, at least at the G5 level.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing hire.
Yeah, for sure. I'm wholeheartedly with you on that one. Jim Mora, Colorado State was a great hire for them. Lane Kiffin, LSU, Drama Queen himself.
I mean,
I'll say good hire.
I'll say it's a good hire. I mean, he's gonna
recruit.
He's gonna recruit, and it's pretty easy to do when you're at LSU.
Yeah,
that offense is gonna be good. So if he can get somewhat of a handle on the defense, then they're gonna be a good football team.
Yeah, Alex Golish, Auburn. I think that's a good hire.
I would say yeah.
I was gonna say mediocre, but leaning towards the good side.
Yeah. Pat Fitzgerald headed to Michigan State.
I would like to have saw Jonathan Smith get another year.
I agree.
So I'm gonna say mediocre hire, but we'll see.
I think this is a terrible hire.
Yeah. I'm on the terrible side myself here.
I don't understand why. Like, they got Pat Fitzgerald. You're gonna fire Jonathan Smith to hire a coach who hasn't coached in forever, and he did have some decent run at Northwestern, but his last 2 years at Northwestern he was terrible, guys.
Yeah,
he won 3 games and lost 20 something. He was not. His time was up. I don't really see how a few years away from the game is gonna rejuvenate his career. Typically, if you get fired, you want to go like the Lane Kiffin route and start over again, work your way back up. You don't want to just sit on the sidelines and then just wait. You know what I mean? That's not how it works. So. Very curious hire, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of that one at all.
Yeah. Will Stein headed to Kentucky. Coordinator from Oregon, correct?
Yeah. Mediocre, but leaning towards the bad side, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, kind of a tough job, I guess. So I'm sure there wasn't a lot of hot candidates for that one.
All right. And that was our last one on that. Next up, we're real quickly. We're going to talk just real quickly here about signing day. Some quick key points here. I wanted to bring up, first of all, I want to bring up Virginia Tech and Penn State. Virginia Tech's all the way up to 27th, 25th. I mean, James Franklin flipped the majority of his recruits, and he don't even have an OC or a DC yet. Yeah. Players are asking, who's going to be the OC, who's going to be the DC? James Franklin said, I don't know. I said, but you got to trust me. So, and it looks like the wide receiver from Ohio State that was questioned and actually just signed, Chris Haney, if I
Chris
remember.
Henry? Where'd he
Yeah,
go?
the 5-star.
Chris
It
Henry?
looks. I know that he had been holding out with the OC over there, headed to South Florida. It looks like he just signed. But Penn State all the way down to like 136th or something. I mean,
Wow.
just not looking good up in Penn State. And why would it? They don't have a coach. So we'll run through this real quick. I'm using 24/7 Sports here. Texas sits at the top, Georgia number 2, Ohio State number 3, Alabama 4, your normal people here. Oregon number 5, Auburn 6th, LSU 7th, Michigan at 8, Texas A&M 9, Florida 10, Tennessee 11, Notre Dame 12th, USC
sure?
13th.
Are you sure you're looking at this year's? I thought USC was 1.
I'm over on 24/7. Let's see.
I could have sworn SC was finished as the number 1 class.
Hang on. Let me look. This might be from. Let me check. Because I think you're right.
Pretty sure SC finished number 1.
I think that was last year's. My bad.
You're good. Their class was ridiculous this year, guys.
Yeah, USC was number 1. You're right. USC had a ridiculous class.
Yeah, they did.
Jose, did you take Arkansas basketball tonight?
I did.
Yeah, here we go. I have it right now. USC number 1, Oregon number 2, Notre Dame number 3, Alabama 4, Georgia 5, Ohio State 6, Tennessee 7, Texas 8, Texas A&M 9, Miami 10. Any real surprises here? North Carolina sitting at 17. BYU's at 20. Virginia Tech's all the way up to 22.
That is insane to me.
Jared Curtis flipped and went to Vanderbilt.
That was also big.
Yeah, that was big for them. Other than that, nothing too crazy. I don't believe. I've seen a few flips today, but nothing crazy. I remember when we would get hyped for something. My boy Tyler would call out of work, and he would stay home and watch signing day.
I did. I remember being in school and not going to class and watching that thing all day.
Back in the good old days, Auntie.
It was.
Back in the good old days.
Back when signing day was a big thing.
Back when it meant something?
Yeah.
All right, boys. Let's get into these conference championships here. We're going to go through every game. Even if you don't have a play, you can say no play. That's fine. But we'll start off at the top. Some couple Friday games. Troy and James Madison. James Madison's been dominant all year, and the spread shows that at 23.5, over under of 47.5. No play from me. I expect James Madison to be dominant. And one thing that I do want to point out here is these teams are very bunched together. James Madison, North Texas, and Tulane. Obviously, North Texas or Tulane is going to be one of those is going to come out of the winner here. I expect James Madison to maybe even have some style points and try and just run it up here. But no official play for me. I would lean James Madison. I think they stay dominant.
Yeah, this is style points right here. If you're a James Madison fan, right, you want to win by a lot because you want to show the committee that you deserve to get in. I know we'll talk about the ACC game later and how that pertains to the CFB. But if you're JMU, you want to win. You want to win this game by a lot. To show the committee you really do belong. Troy, for what it's worth, based on the research that I did, I haven't seen too much. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. Their offense is not good. They really, really struggle on that side of the ball. How they got here is a miracle. Credit to them. Credit to their coaching staff. But I think this is where their dream season, I guess, comes to an end. They have a lot of injuries in the offensive side of the ball as well. Their offensive tackles may not play this game. So, yeah, I expect JMU to run this one up. They have every reason to. Yeah, this could be a blowout. 23-point spread in a championship game is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah,
it is.
There's no way I can back Troy in this spot. Like James Madison, like I said, they're going to try and make a case to be that team for the college football playoff. And honestly, if it was me picking, that would be my choice, at least for the G5. So I'd lay it here.
Yeah. We'll skip over Kennesaw State, Jacksonville State. No real implications on that game. But we are going to talk about these next two games. North Texas and Tulane. North Texas sitting at -2.5 over under of 66.5. I personally lean. They've been my team even before Tulane was announced. I like North Texas here. I think they outside of that USF loss, I think it was a really bad matchup when we saw a lot of turnovers that game. I really think North Texas can control this game, run the score up, and cover the 2.5 for sure. I have this closer to 6. I like North Texas here.
T.
I am concerned with how they're going to be able to stop the run game for Tulane, especially like at the quarterback scrambles, run stuff, because that's kind of what really killed them pretty bad in the South Florida game. So we'll see if they kind of take anything from that and apply it to this. As of right now, to be honest with you, I kind of lean Tulane. I have not bet this yet, but as it sits right now, I would kind of lean Tulane in this game.
I agree with Tyler. I will be on Tulane in this one, not for very much, but this is a de facto playoff game. I'm assuming, I would say with pretty good certainty, the winner of this game will make it to the CFP regardless of the other outcomes. And the committee has been high on Tulane all year, higher than most people. So if they win this game, they will, again, pretty much be in. What I will say for North Texas, I think Eric Morris a little bit more locked in than John Summerall. Like John Summerall has been all Florida since he got hired. I've seen him.
Yeah.
He's been repping Florida gear. He's been at different press conferences, already recruiting for Florida. I just feel like North Texas, their head coach, is a little bit more engaged, just given the situation, which is obviously big for them, key for them.
Yeah.
But still, I'm going to go ahead and take Tulane here. Tulane at home. They've gotten a lot of turnover luck, positive turnover luck. Maybe that continues to happen. I feel like I always bet on teams where I feel like they're due to regress. Maybe some of these teams are just lucky, and I'm going to bank on Tulane just being a little bit more lucky this year. That luck riding at least one more game here. Again, like Tyler said, their run game, I think, should really give North Texas some problems here. This should be a fantastic game. This is a great live betting game, by the way. Like if you have, let's say you bet Tulane or North Texas pre-flop, pre-game, pre-match, whatever. If the other team goes up 7-0, 14-0, whatever, you might want to jump on the other side because there should be a lot of points, a lot of different little runs here. But I'll take Tulane getting 2.5 for small, but I will be on them.
And so you think if Tulane wins this game, they're in over James Madison, even if James Madison runs it up?
Yeah, because Tulane's beating a ranked North Texas team, and James Madison is beating.
Yeah, I got you.
Garbage troll.
I was just curious. Yeah, for sure. UNLV at Boise State should be a great game here. No official play for me. I lean UNLV a little bit. They've seemed to cover these very close spreads. But yeah, no official play for me.
Yeah, well, I remember we was talking about this game that I want to take UNLV, but we did it twice last year. Got burned twice.
Yeah,
this year too.
And probably this year too. If I'm not mistaken, this line was at either 3 or 3.5 at one point in time, so it has gone up.
Yeah.
So as of right now, to be honest with you, I don't know that I can get behind UNLV. So I lean Boise. No official play for me yet, but I'd lean Boise in this one.
Can UNLV finally win a game against Boise? Because I feel like we bet on them every. Yeah, I said we bet on this team every single time. I remember last year in the playoffs or in the conference championship game, we were on UNLV big that week against when they had Hajj Malik Williams and Ricky White going against Ashton Denti. We were on them big, and they shit the bed. Can they finally do it? They have the talent, they have the personnel, they have the coaching. Dan Mullen, I think. I'm surprised he's not getting some G4 looks, or some P4 looks. So I probably will, go back for thirds with this sorry team, UNLV, just because I like the number at 4.5. But it would not surprise me in the slightest if Boise State pulls away this one.
Yeah. Going over to our first game on Saturday, Jose's favorite team, the BYU Cougars, getting 12.5 playing Texas Tech. Over under a 49.5 here. I like the under in this game actually. Over a spread play. I think that you're going to see obviously a lot of running and trying to control the clock from BYU. That's what they do with Bear Botmeyer, LJ Martin, and crew. And Texas Tech's defense is absolutely unbelievable. One of the best defenses in the country. Um, I really lean the under here for pace of play, very good defenses. Big spread here, kind of maybe trying to. If Texas Tech goes up, I could see them trying to control the game, chew a little bit of clock. So yeah, I lean under 49.5 here.
Yeah, no chance I'm backing BYU. Can't do it. Look, I think this front seven on the like you mentioned for Texas Tech defense,
Unbelievable.
It's legit. Like I think their front seven is legit, and I think it's really going to give BYU problems for the style of football that they like to play. They kind of like to play the quarterback run and they'll run the ball. LJ Martin downhill kind of style. And look, Texas Tech is built for that kind of play in their front seven. And I think we kind of saw it in the first matchup. I think we're going to see it again in this one. I don't think that there's a way that BYU can win this game. So I'll probably be on Texas Tech on this one.
Minus 12.5.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree 1,000,000%. We talked about this 3 weeks ago when these teams played, and we said Texas Tech would win comfortably, and they did exactly that. Keep in mind, going into that game, Texas Tech was not they were not playing well. They were definitely having a hiccup going into that game, and I wasn't as confident as maybe I thought I would be. But since
wasn't that the first game that Morton had come back to?
I believe it was. It was, and he had come back, and I just wasn't fully certain yet, but I still backed him anyways, and they obviously won and covered. But ever since that game, these last few games they played, they've been absolutely massacring teams. UCF, West Virginia, I mean, they're beating the brakes off these teams. They're really starting to click again. I just don't see how BYU keeps up. We saw them struggle last week against UCF. They did not show up and play perhaps the way that that we're accustomed to. Now, I'll give them a little bit of slack if they were already hearing the rumors of their head coach maybe leaving. Maybe they weren't as locked in as they could have been. And now that Satake is officially staying, maybe that takes a load off these players' minds. But overall, going into that game a couple weeks ago, Texas Tech was not playing well, and they still beat the crap out of them. Now they're playing amazing. I can't imagine they're going to go on here and shit the bed against this BYU team, who again are frauds. They're not this good. They've done it, 2 years in a row now. And credit to them, credit to the coach. I mean, to fraud your way to this spot 2 years in a row, that takes some skill, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But this is where their season will come to end. I think that they lose this game, they're out of the playoffs. So
yeah. And I know it might sound weird to say this here, but sitting at the number 4 seed, but Texas Tech is a real dark horse here, in my opinion, to make some noise. I know it's weird saying that as a 4 seed, but all eyes have been on the SEC and the Big Ten. So don't count out Texas Tech. Absolute legit defense. Let's move over here to Georgia playing Alabama. Georgia getting minus 2.5, over under a 47.5. Listen, I like Georgia here, and I'm for not just because I'm a fan of Georgia. I think that they've been playing some of their best ball. They've finally come on defensively and offensively. They played a hard, gritty game last week. They've been getting going a lot earlier than before. And Alabama has really been struggling lately. They have not looked like a very good football team, in my opinion, offensively, defensively. When these two teams played earlier in the year, Alabama, they did have the recipe to beat Georgia, and that was slicing up their secondary. That is, it's very well known that Georgia's secondary is not very good, right? But everything went right for Alabama in that game. They literally were like 12 for 12 on third downs. Like they that whole first half, they literally converted every third down. So I think Georgia, they've been playing better ball defensively, offensively. And I think they get the win here. And Alabama, they've kind of fallen off a little bit for me, in my opinion. And you're going to hear some people cry out, well, take Alabama out. They lost, whatever. They're in the 9th spot. They're not going to get knocked out of playoffs, but I do like Georgia here. And for those people that have DraftKings and FanDuel, there will be a boost on this game. I guarantee you. Wait for the boost and then take the money line, because it will be like plus 100. So if you want to take Georgia. So
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Actually, I like Georgia in this game. And you said, look, they've caught fire. They're playing really good ball on both sides of the ball. And in Alabama, I don't know kind of what has been going on with them, but they've kind of really struggled. I know last week, like against Auburn, like look, those games are always crazy, just because of rivalry week, and we kind of talked about it last week. It's like you can't put just a whole lot of stock into those games. I mean, you can like to some point, but like those games are always, for the most part, going to be fairly close. But even before then, I feel like they kind of struggled on the offensive side of the ball. And Georgia's playing their best ball right now. This best ball they played all year. So I'll back them again, and I do think they're going to get revenge and win this game.
And the thing for Alabama for me is that I've seen lately is they've really struggled, and all year they have, but they have struggled tremendously running the ball.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that, in my opinion, a good coach like Kirby Smart is in a defensive minded coach is going to have adjustments for this game. I think you could really see him drop coverage here, dropping coverage, drop linebackers in coverage, play extra DBs to help the secondary, because Alabama cannot run the ball. They can, no matter how good the offensive line is or whatever, they cannot run the ball. And even then, the offensive line hasn't been playing great either. So yeah, Jose, sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree with you guys. The only thing Bama really has going for them is that they kind of own Georgia. Like they always beat Georgia, and I'll give them credit for that in the sense that whatever the situation may be, it seems like Bama always shows up to play against these boys, which is obviously at this point it's more of a mental edge than anything. So you want to see how Kirby has these guys ready to go. But like John said, everything Georgia's been doing recently has really impressed me. Their defense is starting to play a little bit better, which was my biggest question mark for them. Alabama's still kind of lucking into some win, guys. Like they could have lost like last week against Auburn, and nobody would have.
For sure.
That was a real game right there. If Cam Coleman doesn't fumble that ball, who knows what happens?
Yeah.
So I'm just not very convinced in this Alabama team just yet. Again, Georgia's been improving. Alabama's still been stagnant. If anything, getting a little bit worse. And you guys talked about this playoff picture. Yeah, Alabama is not, unless they get absolutely blown out here, they are not dropping out of the playoffs. I'm telling you right now. Like they will be here. They will be playing next or whatever it is 2 weeks from now in the CFB. They need to lose by like 3 or 4 touchdowns to get knocked out. And even then, I'm not sure.
And also something that you had mentioned earlier too is seeing that bracket kind of shift a little bit, and I think it starts right here with Alabama. If they lose, you could see them drop down to that 10 and kind of a little bit of movement and a little bit of shift in the bracket to kind of get rid of some of these rematches.
I agree.
Let's move over here to the Duke Virginia game. I'm really interested what you all have to say here. I have a side I like, but I think this is our night game, ACC title game at night, 8 o'clock my time. It's going to be a fun one. Duke's looking to really turn this thing up on its head, and they're sitting at plus 3.5 over under 57.5. I'll let you guys go first here. I'm really interested to see what you have to say on this game.
Hey, these are our Blue Devils. I mean, we've been backing this team for a couple years now, and look where they're at. I don't know how the hell they got their way into this fucking championship game. They're 7-5 this year. This is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. And teams these conferences didn't really understand or didn't realize that when they decided to get away with these divisions, right? Like, you used to have 2 divisions per conference, right? The East and the West. They used to have the winner of each division play each other in the conference championship game. Once they abolished that, they didn't realize that you're going to have a lot of teams finish with the same record. Yeah. And that's what happened here. This was a 5-way tie that allowed Duke to get in. I'm not even sure how they managed it, but now the ACC screwed themselves because if Duke wins this game, they're not getting any representatives into the playoffs. They need Virginia to win this game. So if you believe in that kind of stuff, if you believe that the ACC has some power over this game, you want to bet Virginia because I guarantee they're on the phone with the referees right now saying, you better give Virginia the calls because we need a representative in the playoff. If Duke wins this game, they will not get in. That being said, I'm going to keep backing the Blue Devils. I'll take a money line plus 140 here. Their defense has not been good this year, but their offense, Darian Mensah has been electric. He's been one of the better players in the country, in the ACC for sure. Coming over from Tulane, he got the bag, so he was worth that money. And again, it's the team of destiny. Like for you to be 7-5 and have a chance to win your conference in a major conference, yeah, of course I'm going to back you. I love havoc, I love chaos, and I would rather see the better teams get into the playoffs. And I know you're going to say, well, don't you want an ACC team to get in? No, I don't, because I guarantee you on a neutral field, North Texas or James Madison will be favored over each of these teams, which means they have the better chance of winning or making noise in the playoffs than either one of these two sorry-ass teams do. Virginia is also a team of luck, by the way. This team should not have 10 wins. This is one of the, maybe besides BYU, this is the most fraud team out there. So, yeah, give me the Blue Devils. I want to see James Madison. I want to see North Texas or Tulane in there because I know they'll put up a better fight than these two sorry teams. So, yeah, give me Manny Diaz one more time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And we really did have high hopes for this defense, and that was kind of the bright spot of what we highlighted for this team. Obviously, Darian Mincy, but like as a unit as a whole, we were like, yeah, this defense is gonna be legit. And they haven't really played that way, but they have scored the shit out of some points this year. I mean, they are moving the ball well, they're throwing the ball well, they're running the ball well. They haven't scored under 35 points since like October. So, like, they're scoring the ball. I expect this to kind of be a shootout here, and I think the overall total kind of proves it. Like, I'm not a backer in this Virginia team at all. I think they have had everything that could go right and go their way has gone their way. And I'm not going back and win this game. And I get the hook. I'm gonna be taking. It may be a trap. I don't know, but I'm gonna take it and ride Duke again.
Yeah, I was on Duke money line. I think for what it's worth, the games I've watched this year, the Duke defense, yeah, they haven't been great, but they haven't been bad. They just tend to shoot themselves in the foot every time I'm watching them, making careless penalties, careless mistakes. The offense fumbles at the one. Mensah throws a pick in the red zone, and that's what takes them out of these games. If they can just cut out the penalties and the mistakes, this team is very, very good on paper. They can win this game easily. So yeah, give me the Blue Devils out on the money line. There's definitely value there, in my opinion. Against the Virginia team that I'm just not very high on. I think Chandler Morris has been great. They run the ball really well, but Duke's just, in my opinion, they are the better team here. So, in our other night game, an absolute fire game of the year possibly. Indiana, Ohio State, Indiana sitting at +4, over under 47.5. Two incredible defenses, two incredible offenses. I feel like it's only right here if we let my boy Jose go first. This is his two favorite teams in college football going head to head.
Yeah, this is tough. I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Yeah, it is.
I wasn't looking forward to breaking this one down. Listen, selfishly, and obviously, I'm a Bucknut. I want Ohio State to win this game, right? Because that would mean they got to play in the Rose Bowl, which means I got to go watch them in person again, right? Now, Indiana would be a good consolation, but I still would rather go watch Ohio State, of course. That being said, this game, Ohio State always comes through for us, right? One way or the other, they always come through. But Kurtz and Yeti also always comes through. We've been on this guy's train for years. Yeah. This guy is one of the best coaches in college football. We've been singing his praises, and it'd be great to see this guy reach some sort of championship, get some sort of silverware here, and win the Big Ten championship with Indiana. Indiana, the Hoosiers, football, ridiculous. Much credit to them. Listen, to me, I kind of want to take Indiana, like on principle here. I think that +4, getting above +3 is key for me. Both these teams are far and away the best in the country, in my opinion. It doesn't matter who wins or loses. If Ohio State wins, or let's say Indiana wins, then Indiana should finish 1, Ohio State should finish 2. If Indiana loses, they should still stay at 2. I don't think any team here should really fall that at all from that, at least from that 2 spot, because these are the 2 best teams in the country. Ohio State finally played some decent competition last week in Michigan, and while they did cover the spread, it was a little bit closer than maybe what the final score would indicate. I mean, for a good quarter there, at least quarter and a half, I was a little nervous. I was still worried. I was thinking to myself that Michigan came to play. Ohio State doesn't look buttoned up, and maybe it was a buttoned up game. Maybe they come into this game much more ready to go, given that they played some decent competition. But Indiana, for what it's worth, they have this. I'm going to get ahead of myself first. I wanted to talk about the quarterbacks before I dove into the game. That if you believe in either one of these guys, I think they're the co-favorites to win the Heisman.
Yeah.
So I would assume whoever wins this game will probably win the Heisman at this point, either them or Pavia. So that's another angle you could probably look at if you want to how you want to approach this game. Michigan was able to find some success on the ground, but Indiana's run game is not as good as Michigan's. They're much more of a passing team. They want to get the ball to Surratt. They want to let Mendoza use his arm, and that kind of plays into Ohio State's preference. Their secondary is elite. Caleb Downs back there. They have some really, really good players in the back end. I don't really see how Indiana is going to explode, use their offense the way they have this season. I think Ohio State will provide the toughest test by far for them. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. But again, I just respect Cincinnati so much. I think he's one of the best game planners in the country. I'll take the +4 here, as much as I hate to do it. At least right now. Maybe when game day comes and I'm, it's nighttime and I'm ready to sit down and watch this game, maybe I get on Ohio State one more time. But as of right now, just on principle, I'll take the +4 over the hook. This should be a fantastic game. I'm hoping for a fantastic game, but I got to back Cincinnati here, getting over the field goal.
I'll let you go, and then I'll give my breakdown.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't feel bad betting either team in this game. To be 100% honest with you.
Yeah, I don't
want to fade Indiana, and I don't want to fade Ohio State. But look, you said it. That first quarter last week, really the first drive, they came out and broke like a big run and was marching down the field, and I was like, no chance they do it again. Yeah, like no chance for it to really do it again. Second drive, they did the same thing. Saying had a couple of turnovers or early, and so I was like, well, this is not exactly how I thought it was going to be going. Now they did win, but I guess I'll take Indiana as well here. I don't feel great about it at all, and be honest with you. Look, I think this Ohio State defense is legit. Now, I do think this Indiana team is better than they were a year ago. And I think as a whole on both sides of the ball, I just, like you said, I am really worried about what they're going to do on offense because they are not a very run-heavy team. And I think you're really going to have that against this Ohio State defense because if you try and drop back and throw the ball 40 times, I don't think you're going to have a whole lot of success against this defense. But it's Ignetti. He'll have a game plan ready. He always does. One of the best coaches in the country, getting 4 points. I think you have to take that because it is, like you said, above 3. Don't feel great about it. If we get burned by Ohio State, to be honest with you, I'm okay with that.
This game's so tough, man.
It's tough.
I expect a pretty big defensive battle here, right? Ohio State hasn't really let up more than, I believe, 13 points all season outside of the Illinois game. So I have a take here. Ohio State wins this game and covers. And that's who I'm going to take. Indiana or Texas Tech wins the national championship.
What?
Yeah. It is so hard to repeat national champions. I think Indiana or Texas Tech will win the national championship, and Ohio State will win and cover the conference championship. So I'm going to take Ohio State here, and the only reason why, you kind of touched on it there a little bit, Jose, Ohio State's run game has really, really took off here lately. Jackson out of the running back is shredding people.
Bo Jackson?
Yeah.
The next Bo Jackson? Yeah.
Yep. Controlling ball games, helping open up even more for Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate. I think Ohio State covers this game, and it wins and covers. I want to take Indiana really bad, but I think Ohio State is the most complete team. 4 quarters, and they get it done here. And Julian Sayin's going to end up winning the Heisman, even though I really feel like Mendoza deserves it. I think you're 100% right. It's going to come down to the winner of this game will get the Heisman.
No.
Mm-hmm. I pray to God Pavia don't get it. But yeah, give me Ohio State -4, and Indiana or Texas Tech for the national championship. That's where I'm at.
That's a hell of a take.
Real quick, I want to look at. I actually want to pull up the odds before we get off here for the championship. Ohio State plus 175. Indiana plus 400. Oregon or Georgia plus 800. Then it drops down into the 10-1s for Texas Tech, Notre Dame, Oregon. And I mean that kind of tells the tale of what we're talking about here. Of Ohio State, Indiana are by far the best two teams in the country, right? I mean, there's no question. And I agree. I don't think if Indiana was to lose this game, they should not drop from number 2.
No.
If they win this game, they should just flip flop 1 and 2,
Yeah.
and that's it. So, very interesting here. Next week, we have the Army Navy game, and that's it. There will actually be a week off, so we'll kind of have to get together and see what we want to do for next week. I'm not sure if we'll have a week off or if we'll go ahead and break down the playoff games. So we'll get together, figure out what we're going to do. Right as of right now, I plan for us to be here Wednesday next week. But yeah, we appreciate y'all. Enjoy the conference championship games this weekend. Football is coming to a close. It's sad to see, but enjoy the good games because they're going to be really, really hella good games. So glad to be back with y'all tonight. Love you, miss you. I appreciate all the prayers. It's been a rough week, and I'm very grateful for every one of y'all. So, Tyler, I hope you don't get snowed in. Jose,
Yeah.
I hope your ankle feels better, and we're going to enjoy some ball games. Love you y'all. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for an announcement on next week, but plan for Wednesday.